Shooting a video in the middle of the night, my brain ain't working right, that's all right. Woo! Hey friends, how's it going? Ash here, welcome back to Gents. Hope that you're doing well. I am psyched because today I got in a package from France. I bought a few fragrances on the Bay of Ease, eBay. The new K Eau de Parfum Intense, the new Valentino Uomo Born in Roma Green Stravaganza, which that name, a little bit too long, and this beauty, the new Le Beau. So the other two I haven't opened yet, haven't smelled them. I'm gonna do that in the next few days and do some first impressions, but with this one, just couldn't help myself. Second the package came in, I ripped it open, pulled this out, tore open the little packaging on here, and sprayed this on. And throughout the day, I have sprayed it on again, and again, and again. So in today's video, I'm gonna break this one down for you a little bit, let you know my first impressions. We'll take a look at the presentation here, which pretty nice looking. And yeah, I'll just let you know if this is something that should be on your radar or not, whether you should scoop it up like I did off of eBay, assuming it's still on there, or wait until it pops up in stores in the US and scoop it up then. So do keep in mind, these are my first impressions. I did just get this one in today. Let's kick things off by taking a look at that presentation. So here is your Jean Gaultier Le Beau Paradise Garden can. I actually really like the design here, really cool. Very colorful, very festive looking. So here we have your Jean Gaultier Le Beau Paradise Garden can. Extremely attention grabbing, very colorful. I actually really like the way that this one looks. On the bottom, you have a QR code and your barcode. And then mine came with a little sticker that you would find if you were shopping at a store, so that if you try to walk out without paying for it, it'll set an alarm off. It opens like so, as always, by pulling down, and then the bottle sits inside there. And here we have the Paradise Garden bottle. Again, I think it looks really, really nice. Has a different color hue to the fragrance as compared to Le Beau and Le Beau Le Parfum. Then you have a little leaf motif that covers up his unit there. Yeah, this is his, yeah. As always, you have a little stopper right here that sits on the neck of the atomizer. On the bottom, everything is etched into the glass. A badge code of mine here is 32851. And if you turn it to the side, you can see that the leaf here is essentially just glued on. Nice. Let's go ahead and let's spray this guy really quickly so you can see how the atomizer works. It's like all the Le Male and Le Beau fragrances, works really well, but there we go. Before we jump into how the fragrance smells, here are a bunch of codes that you can use if you shop online at any of these different websites. The newest code is for fragflex.com, GS11, which will save you a flat 11% across the whole website. Triple Traders is a great website for clone fragrances, and then Max Aroma and Twisted Lily, fantastic for niche. All right, let's start talking how this guy smells. Now, the original Le Beau, and to an extent also Le Beau Le Parfum, I was a little bit late to come around to, but I will say that last year, Le Beau Le Parfum crushed it for me, just as far as compliment factor goes. I wore it a good amount, and every time I wore it, people were drawn to it. And I have come around, and become a believer of Le Beau and Le Beau Le Parfum. So that's why I was really looking forward to this one. Now, as I said, as soon as it came in, opened this up, sprayed it on. Actually, a number of times. I've let this dry down and sprayed it on again, and dry down and sprayed it on again, basically all day, just to really kind of take it in and try to make sure that I'm not jumping to conclusions like I did with the original Le Beau, where I was kind of wishy-washy on it. Didn't hate it or anything like that, but wasn't in love with it initially. So how does this one work for me? Does it hit for me? How does it smell? Freaking awesome. I love this. It just immediately, okay? Again, to put this into context, Le Beau Le Parfum was my #1 most complimented fragrance of last year. This one, just off my immediate impressions here, my first day wearing it, immediately leapfrogged Le Beau Le Parfum. Just whoosh, straight to the top. What Quentin Bisch is doing right now at Jean Gaultier with the fragrances that he's popping out, they keep getting better. For me, just better and better and better, and this is that. So I've seen this compared to Kenzo Homme Eau de Toilette Intense. It doesn't smell like that one to me. When I smell this side by side, I don't even like Kenzo Homme Eau de Toilette Intense, same perfumer, Quentin Bisch, but I don't really like that one. It just doesn't work very well for me. And yes, they both have fig, that fragrance in this one. they don't really smell very similar, especially when you do them side by side. A big difference. Same thing with Fusion DC Extreme. This one has been compared to that, and also Fusion DC. They both, again, have fig, coconut. Fig and coconut is what I meant to say, fig, coconut. But yeah, they have similar notes there. So you may think, oh, probably gonna be pretty close. They're really not. When you spray these on side by side, which I did today as well, there's a much more pronounced minerality in the Fusion DC fragrances, which is not here. The sweetness hits in a different way. Those have much more of like a fuzzy kind of feel to it. They don't have this underlying sweetness and bit of warmth that this one has. They're quite different. So just kind of throwing that out there right at the front, because I know that there's gonna be a question of like, well, how close is it to this? How close is it to that? To me, not really close to those at all. The one it's gonna be closest to, which is not a surprise, is Le Beau, the original. When I say original, I know there are other Jean Paul Gaultier fragrances with Le Beau in the name, but you know what I'm talking about. Not Le Beau Mall, just Le Beau. Now that being said, once again, side by side, quite different. Different enough that I don't find them redundant whatsoever to own both of them. So how's this smell? What are the differences? Well, when you first spray this one on, it's decently green, which is probably not a surprise because they actually call the fragrance a green aquatic. And then you have mint in here, you have fig, and the fig, as it dries down, you pick up like a leafiness from the fig as well as the fruity side from the fig also. So really nice how that note is used here. Also, just in general, there are green notes off the top as well. So a green aquatic with mint and green notes. Big surprise looking at the bottle here as well. Yeah, it's got a very green feel to it, but it's an extremely approachable green fragrance. What I mean by that is sometimes green fragrances can be maybe too leafy, too natural smelling in that direction, where people will smell it and just be like, dude, I don't want to smell like the outdoors in a photorealistic way necessarily. Or sometimes they come across a bit too old-fashioned for people, where they'll smell it and be like, nah, it's too dated. This does not do that. So that mint in the opening, not like a peppermint that you've muddled in your hand or anything like that. You don't really get like the oils, the peppermint oils from it. It's that kind of romanticized, sweet mint. The water in there, the aquatic notes keep it very fresh, very clean off the top. Again, extremely approachable. I think it just smells absolutely fantastic off the top. Like I can just spray this stuff on over and over and just smell the opening again and again and again. Go back on there. I do hate these though. I prefer the elixir one where it's like a nice big handle that you can kind of grab there. And with that green vibe that you get from this one off the top, it's not really, you know, heavily aromatic or anything like that. Again, going back to what I said before, Fusion DC and Fusion DC Extreme, they have more of an aromatic feel to them. This one really doesn't. It's more fresh, clean, sweet. Touch of fresh spice in there, just a little bit, but it's way in the background. It doesn't really do anything other than to just kind of shore the fragrance up, give it a little bit more body, a little more depth. The coconut in here, a bit similar to what's in Le Beau and Le Beau Le Parfum, which again makes sense, it's in the line, right? But it's not quite as heavy, but it maintains that really addictive quality. And that comes out a little bit more as it dries down. It's not there quite as much in the opening, just pops out as you transition into the mid. So that coconut melts together perfectly with the fig. It has saltiness in there, just like a little sea splash as the fragrance dries down. So that watery feel that's very fresh, sweet, clean in the opening, as it dries down, you get a little saltiness that gives it a different feel, but maintains that aquatic kind of vibe from the opening into the mid. And while it has sandalwood and tonka in the base, it's not as creamy, not as heavy in the dry down with those notes as compared to the other two in this lineup. This one maintains that freshness for quite a while. I really feel like for me that this is gonna take the place of Le Beau because Le Beau, not Le Beau Le Parfum, but Le Beau, I would probably wear that one more spring, maybe summer, fall. This one, spring, summer, I'm gonna use pretty much every time over that one, just because the opening here just grabs my attention. And through the mid, the way that it melds together, that tropical kind of coconut without being as heavy, creamy, no powder or anything like that, maintaining that freshness with that, again, that kind of like sea splash that it has in the mid, that bit of fig and then fig leaf that I pick up as well. It's just, I'm gonna go for this. Like every time you put the original Le Beau, which is really solid, again, as time went on, I have really grown to love Le Beau and Le Beau Le Parfum. But you put this one up next to that one and I'm going this one, yeah. There have been a lot of fragrances here over the past couple years that I have thought were just absolutely fantastic, really good. But I can count on one hand the number of designer releases over the past couple years that the day I get them in, I just spray it on, spray it on, spray it on, spray it on. You know, it just doesn't happen that often with how much stuff that I have, with how much stuff that I've smelled. So this is just fantastic. I don't know what else to say. The only thing that I could nerf this on or, you know, ding it on is the performance. It lasts a pretty good amount of time. It's long lasting on my skin, no problems there. It doesn't project as heavily as the other Le Beau fragrances for me, but it is a fresher style as compared to those. So, you know, kind of one of those deals where it's expected a little bit. And truth be told, if I gotta go heavy on this one, I don't really care. And again, it's not that it would only last 4 hours or something, so it's not really a big deal unless you're just wanting it to project really heavily. It doesn't project as far as Le Beau Le Parfum, so if I were wanting to make sure that I get that projection, I would just go a little heavier with this one. And as far as seasonality, spring, summer, you could wear it early fall also. Actually, you know, I'll just wear it year round, truth be told. But spring, summer is what most people are gonna say that this is best suited for. And it leans more daytime than nighttime, but it does have that sweetness in there, which would work really well in the evening also. I got a feeling deep in my soul here that this is gonna be just fantastic as far as the reactions that you're gonna get. Again, Quentin Bish crushing. So that is this guy right here. Yeah, this is starting the year off strong. Like I said before, I also got the new K, I got the new Born in Roma, and I also got the new H24 on the way. I don't have that one yet, but I placed an order for that also. So when those come in, we'll check those out, and if it's anything like this, as far as just how good it smells, we are in for a killer year. I'm just hoping we're not starting like here, and then everything else goes. But there we go, Le Beau Paradise Garden. If you're a fan of this line, you're gonna like this. You're gonna like this a lot. If you're not a fan of this line, I don't know if this one is different enough to convert you. Again, I don't think it's redundant compared to the other Le Beau fragrances, but it's definitely still a Le Beau fragrance. The coconut's still here, it's still a focal point. This one is greener, fresher, and the sweetness is a different style. You know, it's not as, again, creamy, not as dense, not as heavy as Le Beau Le Parfum, but still just really, really well done. But if you don't like that, that style, that coconut Le Beau style, if you want to call it that, you may not be converted by this. But if you do, you're in for a good time. Thank you guys for hanging with me. Stay safe out there, and I will see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.